Today I'm going to blow your mind with a table my team and I created that shows mathematically which is the best trading platform and type of account you should start trading with if you want to make money in your first year. You will see if it's better to trade a live account, an instant funded account, or a hedge fund account. Now the first line says live account with $400. You open an account with a regulated broker, of course. You fund it with $400, and to make a fair comparison, let's assume you are using an expert advisor that makes an average of 2% per month, and there are such expert advisors. I have reviewed many. I will show you in this video an expert advisor that made 2% a month for quite a long time now, and we have deducted the costs. So at the end we will see with which platform or type of account you will have the most revenue. So if you fund a $400 live account and obviously don't have a target and draw down, the profit split is 100%, which means you can withdraw all of the profits, of course. The account size is $400 and the estimated profit is 2%. We just deducted 5% commissions, which is the case with most of the brokers. And the estimated 1 year profit is exactly $91, which is not bad, right? $400 account, you make nearly $100 for 1 year. Now it gets interesting when it comes to an instant funded account with iFunds, for example. If I go to the website, the pricing is $400 for 5K starter account. The profit split is 50%, and if you make 2% a month, we didn't deduct any costs here because they don't charge you commission on the trades. And you will see that the estimated 1 year profit is $1,200. You get 50% out of that, which is $600, and the 1 year net revenue is $200 because we deduct the initial investment from the 1 year profit. However, iFunds recently launched an update and they allow you to increase the profit share, but you decrease the drawdown. Let me show it to you. Right in here, just above the pricing, you can see that for any of the plans, I can decrease my drawdown, and if it goes down to 8%, the profit split increases to 60. If I decrease it further, let's say to 6%, the profit split is 80. So we did the math for all of the possible options, and you can see that with the lowest drawdown of 6%, with the same account size, you will have a total net profit of $960, or the 1 year net revenue after deducting the initial investment would be $560, which is 3 times more compared to the 50% profit split and nearly 6 times more compared to the live account. But bear in mind that it's really hard to have an expert advisor or strategy that will keep your drawdown below 6% for an entire year. And the third option will blow your mind because this is the good old Darwin X crowdsourced hedge fund, and we've put it into the calculations with $400 account. Actually, this is the 1 year subscription, which is $420. But if you use the coupon Petko, you are getting additional discount. So it is €384 instead of $405, or that is actually $400 instead of $420. Or that is the participation fee we pay to get one Darwin X account for 1 year. And look at that. The profit split is just 15%, but if you make an average of 2%, and here we actually deducted 15% commission, you will see with that profit you are getting 90,000 allocation, and that's a fact because I received it myself. I will show it to you in a second, and it's 90k euro, but the math here is in dollars for the entire table, and you will see that with 2% minus the costs, you're getting an estimated 1 year profit of 15,971, and 15 15% out of that profit is $2,396, right? And we deduct the initial investment of $400 and we still get $1,996, way more compared to live account or instant funded account. And I was absolutely blown away. It was a surprise for me to see that just with 15%, and I've explained in other videos why it's 15%, but just with 15%, because of the huge allocation we receive, we can make much more profit at the end of the day. And I promised I will show you the account where I get the 90K allocation if I make an average of 2% per month. And that's with the Vigorous EA, which I've been trading for some time on my DAO-X account. If I show you the account history, you'll see that I started back in 2024, or to be precise, that was the 27th of September 2024. And until the moment I traded the Vigorous fully automatically on this account, you will see that it's very active. You can see that I paid $2,200 of commissions, and we took the commissions from other DAO-X accounts where we're trading also gold and different assets, and the average is around 15%. But at the end of the day, you will see that I can make the most profit from DAO-X. And if I log into my DAO-X account, you will see that I have exactly 90K euro allocation. That's my growth. You can see that the return since the beginning is 12%. And I will show you exactly how the allocation works. So the first month is the calibration phase. One more time, I started on the 27th of September. It is right in here. At the beginning, my DAO-in is calculated and I don't have allocation. Once the DAO-in is created, I received immediately the 30K allocation. In the second month, I received 30K allocation, and the third month, I received 30K allocation. And then in the fourth month, I received again 30K allocation, but the first is gone. So in total, I remain with 90K allocation, and this graph shows exactly how that works. And you can see the return per month down below for 2024 and for 2025. Here is my ranking, which is not bad. And you see that my current rating assures that I will get allocation in the following month as well. And to be really precise, with the 1 year profit, we've made a second sheet on that table, and we showed how it would go from the beginning until the third year. And I'll get to that in a second, but right in here, what you can notice is that the first month is the calibration, so we don't get any profit. The second month is 30K euro, or that is $31,315 according to today's rate of euro dollar. And the third month is 60K, and the fourth month is 90K, and from that point it is 90K. Now, if you receive more as allocation, the math at the end of the day, or the revenue, will be even more. So the total profit, one more time, including the calibration, the 30 and the 60K allocation in the second and the third month, still shows that the most net revenue after deducting the $400 participation fee is with DAO-X. Now lower we have compared live account and iFunds account of $700, which is 10K account, and you will see that at the end we get more with iFunds, $500 compared to $160 with a live account. Then we compare the live account of $1,000 and trading.com account, which also costs $1,000, but there it is 80% profit split on a 10K account, and the target is 20%, and there are different stages. So the math is much more complicated, and probably it will be a subject of another video. However, it gets really interesting right in here. A live account, a DAO-X account with instant allocation, and iFunds account for $1,500. Basically, we wanted to calculate it for you if you're starting with a small account of $400, or if you want a little bit bigger like $700 and $1,000, and then $1,500 is the amount of money where you can get yearly subscription plus instant allocation. And actually this is the amount without applying a coupon for discount, so it's even a little bit cheaper. But what's interesting here is that with a life account of $1,500, if you make 2% a month, you're getting $342 as a profit. With the Darwin X, because you're having instant allocation of 100k, and we added the 90k allocation if you make 2% a month, then the estimated 1-year profit is $35,000. The 1-year net profit is $5,322. And at the end of the day, again, if we deduct the participation fee, it is $3,792. With iFunds, if you get the standard 10% drawdown, 50% profit split, you're getting $1,400. And if you have a strategy or expert advisor that can stay below 6% drawdown and you get 80% profit split on a 25k account, because it costs $1,600 to get 25k account, you would be making $3,200 at the end of the day. But the hard thing here again is having an expert advisor that will stay below 6%. For the moment, the Vigorous is below 6%, but is it going to stay within the next 1 year? I don't know about that. Now we have to point out that the profit with the life account is $342, but you can always withdraw your deposit. So we named it participation fee for the whole column, but it's a life account. At any moment, if you need that money, you can withdraw them. We have to keep that in mind. And just for the protocol, we didn't put prop firms on the table because they always find a reason not to pay out at the end of the day. And I wanted to compare only platforms and type of accounts where we can withdraw the money or we can request payouts and we can comfortably use expert advisors. And at the end, we've calculated for $3,000 investment with life account. You can see that after 1 year, we can have $684 as revenue. With trading.com, we have an account of $2,500. And after 1 year, we calculated that it's gonna be $1,500 of a profit, or that is after you reach 20% or you pass the first stage and you can withdraw 80% of the profit. And it would take around 1 year because we are doing the math if you achieve 2% a month. And then is the iFunds account that costs $3K, and that's a $50K account with the standard 10% drawdown and profit split of 50% and estimated 2% a month. You will be making $12,000. You will be able to withdraw 50%, and at the end you will have $3,000 after deducting the participation fee. But what's interesting that for this amount of money you can get 2 Diamond-X accounts with 2 permanent allocations, or instead of that one you can get 2 of these, and you will still be making more money after 1 year compared to what you would be making with the iFunds. Now the last one is where you would be making the most if you get the 50K iFunds for $3,000, but with low 6% drawdown, 80% profit split, and you can see that at the end you would be making $6,600. So one more time, only if you can afford to trade a strategy or expert advisor with a risk that will stay below the 6%. So if I look at the table one more time, it was really surprising to see that in the low tier participation fee, the most we can make with Diamond-X. And we actually did the second sheet to see how it would go after 3 years. And I don't want to get too nerdy, but stay with me a few more minutes because this is very important. We compared in column F and G the revenue you would be getting if you depend only on the allocation provided by Diamond-X, and in column H and I you can see the yearly subscription plus the instant allocation, right? And obviously the 1 year net profit is different, but you can see that at the end of the day, after 3 years, we would have $28,145.26 if we don't have permanent allocation, and it would be $17,487 with the instant allocation. The fee for the 3 years will be $1,260 without the permanent allocation, and it would be $2,218 with the permanent allocation, because you pay the permanent allocation just at the beginning or once in the 3 years, right? This is why the math shows that the net revenue without the permanent allocation is $6,885, and with the permanent allocation, just because we have more money, more capital, right? It is $15,268, or the return of investment for 3 years is 5.46 without permanent allocation, and it is 6.88 with the permanent allocation. And if you calculate it for the first 1 year, you will see that it is better without the permanent allocation, right? Because the cost is bigger for 1 year if you pay permanent allocation, but if you're looking to trade the DAO-X account for the long term, obviously it is better with the permanent allocation, because for every $1 of participation fee, you would receive $6.88 as a revenue. I'll provide this table for free to our members, so you can modify it the way you want. You can add different types of accounts, you can add different platforms, and I'll be super happy to hear your thoughts down below in the comments. If you want to know more about how DAO-X works, check out this video on my side where you will learn everything needed. Until then, I love you guys, trade safe, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers!